it's really about having a vision and seeing yourself in the future and setting yourself on a trajectory to that place in time and space, setting a point in time and space and not faltering and going there with anything and everything that you have.
We can make this podcast like a poetry slam.
Yeah? You have some poetry for me?
If I had my phone, I might have a few, but we can just talk about whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Corey said, we're here in Tulum, Mexico. We have a bunch of content creators around us and some really cool holistic health brands that we get the privilege of creating some amazing content for and helping them with their marketing campaigns, influencer marketing. And also we arranged this exchange, and instead of paying $2,000 a month, we're basically getting this spot for
$2,500 a night, not a month.
Yeah, a night. Per night. Yeah, correction. What most people would spend in a month for rent, it's a day. And that brings me to the whole crazy point on how just relative money is for some people. Like the vast difference between people that are billionaires all the way to someone that has like no money. It's like the complete difference in their reality, waking up day to day, what they struggle with, right? And going through that point. But, it's the human condition.
Well, also money is relative to how you feel. Money comes and goes. There's no...
It flows. You got to let it flow. When you build it up like a reservoir, it's...
That's why affluence is so much more applicable for myself than abundance.
Yeah.
You can be abundant and have a bunch of money in the bank and boom, boom, boom. Wow, look at me go. But when you're affluent, the money is flowing through you. The money is coming to you in abundance. And you're sharing that money in abundance, which is so much more meaningful. And living affluently is a state that you can go out into the world in. When you show up in the world affluently, you're going to tip the bellman for helping you with your bags, and you're going to leave an extra 5% on the tip at dinner. You're going to be able to buy fruit from the locals when we're here in Mexico and not think twice about it.
Yeah.
And you can share this energy that you've cultivated within yourself and that flows through you much more often and frequently and with love.
Yeah, I think that's a great perspective of money, is really seeing it as something that flows through you and not something you hold on to or, you have a bad relationship with, but a friend. Money's there to help you. It's a beautiful thing, right? It can, get you opportunities. It can, allow you to bless others, right? Just like you're saying, it's kind of like the whole karma thing. You're going out, you're tipping people, you do that in the world. I truly believe that comes back to you tenfold, right? And it's like the positive, you can get on the positive feedback loop of that and really experience rapid evolutions in your life. Or you can get on like the doom loop spiral and, be really stingy with money and hold it back. And then you'll notice universe, whatever happens, kind of doing the same thing to you, right?
So how do we begin to align ourselves with a mindset that is more affluent, that allows money as a spiritual energy to flow through us rather than just working an hourly wage for a job for our whole lives, slaving away for the dreams of somebody else?
Yeah, I think it really comes down to getting super clear on what your dreams, goals, and objectives are, right? If you have a really clear, defined dream and you have some goals along that way and, breaking it down into smaller steps, sure, maybe right now you have to still wake up and, go do the waitress job or whatever it is. But as long as you slowly keep holding that ideal in your mind and your heart and you work at it day after day, sooner or later, the world and opportunities are going to open themselves up to you.
And that's why we end up places like this, around people like this. When it seems that all of us in this house, and we have a great group of people here, all five of us, myself, Jack, Nikki, Nicole, and Johnny, all have been living basically almost nomadically or have the ability to live nomadically and have cultivated their dreams into reality because they decided that they were going to do something. You decided to go all in on something, and you decided to feel what it felt like to be successful, to have that money flowing through you, to have the love that you and Nikki have. You decided to feel that before you had it. And then now here we are. And same for me is like, I'm creating these videos and living the life of my dreams in New Jersey, and I just decided to tell myself, oh, I get paid to travel the world with my camera and visit these wonderful places and network with the most awesome people in the whole entire holistic health and wellness social media space. And instantly, within months, here I am. And it's really just having an idea and allowing yourself the grace and the willingness to let that idea come to fruition.
Yeah, you've really experienced quite the quantum leap in life, going from New Jersey to living in Central America for some good time and creating some really cool projects. It's been a pretty big jump.
Yeah, it's been a big jump. It is interesting because there's a lot at home. I've got a lot that I love at home. I love my family, love my girlfriend, Deanna, love a lot of my friends at home. Yeah. But also at the same time, I see
there's a higher calling.
I see how valuable getting out is, right? And that's where I'm at right now, is I'm in this intermediary stage where I do have roots in New Jersey, and it's the process of picking those roots up and bringing the roots that I want to come with me, and leaving behind the ones that I don't, and really planting those seeds somewhere else, and getting out of the same habitual routine.
Yeah, it's huge. Traveling has been so beneficial to me, especially being an entrepreneur. It's very easy to get locked into a rigid routine, right? I got to optimize my environment, wake up, have the perfect desk to go to, and be able to flow for 8 hours and, work that way. But I've seen some of the most enriching things in my life have been breaking out of that monotony from day to day and traveling, experiencing new cultures. One of the biggest shifts in my life was when, after a bioculture retreat, there's a bunch of creators and brands, and at the time I'm doing marketing for a lot of different like consumer apps and software, because they're wealthy individuals and I kind of have money on a pedestal. And it wasn't until I went to Greece and saw the completely different other side of lifestyle, right? They're taking things slow, they're taking time to drink their coffee, they're really all gathering around for meals and food, to where in America it's go, go, go all the time. So it wasn't until I gave myself that space that Nikki and I decided to create Spark Wildfire and create, a community and an opportunity for others that are looking to experience that level of freedom to, drop into and really find some cool things with. So what has been your experience with travel these past few months?
My experience has been how easy it is to make these quantum leaps. When you place yourself in the unknown, you open yourself to unlimited possibilities. When you place yourself in the unknown, unlimited potential is at your fingertips.
Yeah.
All of these relationships, all of these opportunities come right to you. They find you when you place yourself out of your habitual environment. When I'm in New Jersey doing the same thing every day, waking up, doing my practice, going to the gym in the morning, plugging away at my desk, maybe having a shoot, and then going to jiu-jitsu at night, rinse and repeat. It's not often that these opportunities find me.
Yeah.
So when you travel and you hop on planes and go on long drives and meet new people and get out of your comfort zone, that's when the universe works for you and works with you, and you become a co-creator with the universe rather than the subject of other people's creation.
What are your thoughts on synchronicity?
Synchronicity.
Yeah.
I think that when you align yourself with who you are, when you come to know yourself in a way that you understand what you really want, and you set yourself and your life objectives to make that your reality, you create a gravitational pull towards you, and you create these connections. Like, look at us sitting here right now. I set an idea in my mind of what I wanted to create in life, and I'm creating that idea right now, sitting here with you, manifesting you into my life, right? Manifesting Nikki into my life, manifesting the whole bioculture team into my life, manifesting my girlfriend into my life in college. The idea is these synchronicities present themselves to you when you need them, when you're ready for them.
And how, Is there any like practical element of it? Like, is it just thinking it? Is it visualizing it? Is there a level of action to achieve this? Like, what have you found is like the golden mix between like action, you know, really like putting it in your thoughts? Like, what's the magic formula to being a powerful creator?
Pairing your intention, your desired reality, your time, your point in time and space, feel what it feels like to be there. What elevated emotion do you feel when you're in that position, right? When you're in your desired reality, what does it feel like? Is your desired reality sitting on a beach with Nikki in Tulum, feeling in love, sipping coconuts together? Then feel into that love in your heart and align yourself with it so that your daily actions begin to compound and place you on the trajectory to get there. So it's about feeling the feeling of being had, gratitude, before any of these experiences actually manifest.
Yeah, I always like the Paul Chek's notion and definition of intention is you're literally putting something in tension, right? Let's think about the business, right? When you have the intention, you're kind of like pulling a rope on what you want out in the universe. So I have an intention of creating a really successful business. That's what I'm, putting intention to pull into my life. What's really cool for me is looking into the etymology of words, right? Because we live, so many thousands of years ever since words were created that, definitions change. They change yearly, right? Depending on what the current climate is in the world and who's writing the dictionaries. But looking at the etymology of something, you get the notion of the true meaning. Are there any words out there that, once you found the etymology or the deeper meaning, it kind of, put a light bulb in your head?
Affluence.
Yeah.
We were just speaking of it. Affluence means to flow.
Affluence. A flu. You can literally just sound it out and you get a better meaning of the word than what's in some dictionaries nowadays.
So what have you found has been some profound realizations as you've traveled the world in yourself? Not in business or anything, but what have been some profound realizations that you've realized about Jack as you've hopped on planes and stayed and encultured yourself in these different countries?
Yeah, great question. Really just making sure that wherever you go, you can feel, like you're at home in a way. And understanding that no matter what's going on in life and such, that you're okay and you're good. And really, like I was saying, just traveling has opened up the doors to shedding all those layers that aren't really you, right? You get to truly understand who you are, what your intentions are. Like I was sharing earlier, putting money on a pedestal, it's kind of like a false identity, character that you're playing in the world, to where when you travel and see all these different lifestyles and such, you really get to understand who you truly are, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. I think through travel, you begin to see yourself in the world. Where when you're living in the habitual day-to-day cycles, when you're in your hometown and doing the same monotonous day-to-day routine, which is how we opened up this podcast, you don't notice as much. When you get out of that comfort zone and dive into the unknown, and you're driving down the street in a foreign third world country and you see children walking to school on the side of the street, or someone's on the back of a horse and these people are so happy with nothing, you begin to contemplate yourself, and it gives you a new elevated perspective on like who you are and why you are. And it's almost like the world becomes much more of a mirror when you get out of the same comfortable state that you've been in all this time.
Yeah, it's huge. And one of the biggest parts about experiencing life, I think, is actually going and putting yourself out there and testing it, where rubber hits the road, as the old expression is, going and actually testing it, right? Instead of talking about shooting videos, going and shooting the video. Instead of talking about starting the business, going and do it. Like we were talking about this podcast before and all the content we want to create here, at this beautiful place and working with these different brands is, all right, instead of strategizing, let's go do it. Let's go hop on the podcast. Let's go, shoot the video. I think that's what really separates winners from losers, is the ability to take action.
Absolutely. It's the idea of initiative.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the scale of consciousness?
Yeah, I've looked into that a lot, and it's something that I think is pretty cool. And it's not just the action itself, but the intention and the feeling before you take action. Like if you're always taking action from a place of fear and whatever that is, you're going to create some more of that in your life. Whereas if you can take a step back and get aligned before you work, you're in a much more powerful creation state if you're working from a place of love or, you know, heightened emotions. Where when you're in survival, you're in fear, which is where most people are in life, especially when you're really unhealthy. You're eating the standard American diet, you're drinking tap water, you know, you're going to a 9 to 5 around negative people that you don't really like. And a lot of people are pretty negative, and that negative energy is like sticky, right? So you're kind of like stuck in life between bad food and just a whole range of factors to where your body literally feels like it's in survival. You might be in a nice room playing some music, but your body's so stressed out that you're in a survival mode. So one of the biggest parts to higher consciousness and, you know, succeeding in business and life and whatever it is, isn't necessarily about like meditating on it and like trying to manifest it, but changing the few things that are in your control, you know, like what you put in your body, the quality of water you drink, who you hang out with, and slowly your life starts to get better or fast, as you know, we've both experienced, especially this past year. But, you know, it wasn't out of the blue, right? Like we've taken years and years to work on this, whether it was business, you know, creativity, to where now we're at this point and we can look back and make sense of all that's happened in our life.
It is about getting out of survival. And a lot of people live constantly in survival. They live in reaction to the world rather than reflection.
Yeah.
And that's what happens when we're talking about seeing yourself in the world when you travel, is you get to reflect on yourself based on the external happenstances. And you step out of that survival mode because you can't create from a place of fear, like you said. It's impossible. It's impossible to create from a place of fear, of reactivity.
Yeah.
Creativity flows.
Maybe just it's not impossible to create, but create the desired result, right?
Correct. Yes. To align yourself, because it's so much more powerful to be aligned with those higher vibrational emotions, right?
Yeah.
And something that I've thought about and pondered is how those different emotions correspond with the different energy centers of our body and speaking these things into existence. And there's quite literally a process of deciding and speaking these different labels that we have for ourselves and the world into existence. And at the root, it's I am. That's your connection to the world. So if I say, oh, I am, oh, that's just my luck, I'm unlucky, right? You're speaking that into existence.
Don't
and that's
say
becoming your reality, right? So starting at the root, we have the affirmations, which I've found super profound and powerful, is I am at the root. We have I feel at the sacral. That's your feeling. We have I do at the solar plexus. That's courage. That's willingness. That's stepping up into the higher emotions. And at our heart, we have I love. Because as soon as you begin to do, you begin to learn how to love what you do. And as we're sitting here on this podcast, I love doing this. And that opens me up to higher realms and unlimited possibilities as I get into flow states and create. And that's where I love bridges the gap up to the next thing, which is I speak. And as we reach that the fifth center, I can speak whatever into existence. I can allow the infinite intelligence to channel through me, and I can speak it and share my mind authentically. We get up to I see, and as we speak, we speak these things into existence until we can see them to be our reality, right? And then we see the world actually change before our eyes until when we see it, we finally believe it, and then we know it to be true. And that's when we connected the I amness to the knowingness and connected the heaven and the earth and actually manifested and created our reality with emotional intelligence, with understanding ourselves through the process of self-realization. I found that to be super profound.
Wow, where'd you learn that from?
I'm unsure, to be honest.
Yeah. Divine download or something of the sort.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, the whole notion of like energy centers, right? A lot of people think it's so woo-woo, like chakras and whatever, but there's more nerves like in your stomach than there's in your brain, right? And your heart as well. Like these different parts of your body have like a deep knowing, and you put it very well. Like, you know, I feel, I speak, I love, and those are where you feel those emotions. It's not just in your mind right? We live in such a world where it's just purely mind that dominates everyone's reality, and people aren't leading from the heart, you know, or a deeper knowingness. It's just all about, well, it's more limited, right? How would you, or what would you advise someone that's looking to express more of that energy in their life, right? Maybe they're stuck in some lower vibration. How would you start to, you know, raise your vibe?
Energy in motion is your emotions, right? Emotions means energy, emotion. So the people that get stuck in low vibrations, they're just letting their energy get stuck. They're not processing energy, right? So then they get stuck and it manifests in their physical body in the form of disease. Disease in the mind manifests into the body. You're in the Paul Chek spirit gym. I'm sure you've heard him say that a bunch of times.
Yeah, heard him say a lot of wild stuff.
And the idea of processing energy has been super profound. So voice journaling, I do a lot of voice memos and talk to myself and create. And that's been the biggest thing for me, is just creating, writing songs, doing artwork, writing poetry and journaling, and just processing these things that I have inside of me through these different outlets. And that's what creativity has allowed me to do, is like process that energy. And I'm going to extend the same question back to you. Like, how do you think people can start to process and really step out of those lower vibrations and into what their desired dream reality would be?
Yeah, I think a big part of life is just getting healthy, right? Making sure you feel good in your body, going and working out, eating the right foods. And then from there, like you said, you know, from the I am all the way to the I know, the different levels of thinking is start to really think positively, right? And put only thoughts you would want in your mind. And then slowly your reality is going to start and change. Most people don't realize they create their own reality and then they start complaining about it when it happens. Right? It's the whole victim mentality. Little do you know, I mean, after maybe you can't control the situation you're born into or stuff after that, but you know, at a certain level, I believe everyone has a good bit of control over their own life. And, you know, you can defer that responsibility and push it onto other people and give other people power over your life, or you can take it and know that you are the greatest creator of your own life. You're responsible for your emotions. You're responsible for your financial success. You're responsible for your spiritual evolution. And really, the more ownership, one of the earlier books I read in life was called Absolute Ownership by Jocko Willink. And it was this whole book on this, I won't get into the whole story, but something devastating happened in Iraq, right? And instead of everyone like blaming each other in, you know, the convoy or whatever, everyone took complete ownership. Would you rather play in a team to where it's like only the leader takes responsibility, or, you know, blame someone else, or if every single person on your team takes absolute ownership? You're going to be much more effective, which I think is another part of life, is surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals. I think especially in the world we grow up, everyone is so individualistic, right? It's me versus the world. I got to create success by myself. And until you begin to break out of that and learn how to work with others and, you know, form a true team, I think you're just making things a lot harder in life. And it's like the whole divide and conquer thing, you know, it's a perfect strategy, and we've seen it play over these past few years. Everyone's divided, and when we're not together, we're disconnected. When we're disconnected, there's no real evolution in people learning from each other, especially when we're all getting our information from one central place and not taking the responsibility to go educate ourselves.
Creating synergy between us as human beings. And that's all creating your dreams is creating synergy between yourself and other human beings, and organizing an alliance of minds that are set in the same vision, because it's so much easier to go a place, to go and find your dreams if other people are aligned with them as well. Yeah. One mind aligned on a dream is not as powerful as 2 or 5 or 10, and you get these great minds together and truly change the world. And that's the secret to it, is organizations of man. Yeah. Right? I know you've read Think and Grow Rich, I'm sure. Yeah. Where you organize the organizations, right? We have these large corporations, which are just organizations of minds all working for the same objective. And you, as this conscious being, a creator of your own reality, we're essentially tasked with organizing those minds to allow our dreams to come true. And it's so much easier to allow those dreams to come true if your vision is in service to humanity as well. Is having a noble purpose, is acting with virtue, is creating something bigger than yourself that's not just for yourself. I think that helps create our dreams much more cohesively and selflessly.
Absolutely. And a lot of people, you don't really see that in the mainstream because it's all these people that are creating these, dirty business models, kind of just taking from the world, taking money from people, hurting people's lives and, making money and then creating, courses on how to make money, doing these things that aren't really from a great place, giving back to humanity, to where the next biggest set of entrepreneurs and creators are the people that have this higher level of consciousness of when I'm going to create something in the world, I'm going to do it from that place of like alignment and giving back to humanity. Because at this point, we've damaged Earth so much. We've sprayed all our food with poisons. Everyone's really sick. Birth rates are dropping. And, you can have the people that go and proliferate that problem, or you can have the individuals that, want to do something good for the world and give back, go and create successful businesses doing so. That's going to be like the new economy and what's coming up.
That's it. Create the reality that you desire. Speak your dreams into existence. Believe your dreams to be true. Feel what those dreams feel like before you have them. Let's create a better, happier, and healthier planet Earth together.
Yeah.
That's all she wrote. So thank you for tuning in. We're going to have so much more content like this coming out of this content house here at Villa Privada.
Spark wildfire, baby.
Yeah, we're having a great time. So thank you for tuning in. So much more to come and so much gratitude and love. So peace. See you on the other side. Yeah. Check out the next video. We got tons like this.
Many more to come. A lot of wisdom, a lot of creation here. Villa Privada.